Hi, I'm Leon, and today we'll be taking a look at the Optimus Primal Transformers Blaster, a pretty cool blaster that looks a little familiar. Let's take a look. The Optimus Primal Transformers Blaster is not a rough cut. Just so everybody knows, the rough cut is a totally different blaster. I can't quite put my finger on what blaster this is, though. But, truthfully, there's not too much to talk about, so let's go through it. Only one attachment point here, which is just going to be the tactical rail on the top. It's got a couple of sling points here and here, although I do wish there was one here like the old rough cut, but I can forgive that. And to prime, just a pump grip, and it fires too. Honestly, some pretty cool stuff. To load, all you got to do is go ahead and load darts like that, and it's a Smart AR system, so no matter what barrel you load, it's going to be shooting both. And it shoots decently well. It's got a two-stage trigger, so after you prime, go ahead and pull once, and it's just going to fire the one side, and then pull the other time, it's going to fire the other side. It's got two springs in it. Super cool. I wonder what this thing is. Now, one of the things I will talk about is a little bit of movie knowledge to make my movie friends happy. This is not Optimus Prime. This is a totally different person. You can see on the back, it's the monkey. I don't know too much about Transformers lore, so I'll go ahead and make sure I tag my movie guy to explain all of this for you. But in truth, you can call it the Optimus Prime Blaster, but you'd be a little incorrect. It's for the new movie involving the different kind of things. But I'm not a movie guy. I know a movie guy, so I'll refer you to the movie guy if you have any questions about that. But let's go ahead and just talk about the graphics of the blaster real quick. The one side it's got the Optimus Primal with sort of the Optimus Prime getup, and the other side it's got just the monkey himself. So, pretty cool. Two designs on the blaster. They're different on both sides. That's cool. One of the things is, bottom is not painted at all. There's no wrap going on here, which this is where the priming handle is, so that's okay. Also, weirdly, this bit isn't painted. I'm not entirely sure why, but I think a blaster that's very similar to this also just happens to have this orange. It's cool. The other side is different, but the top is also not painted, so go figure. The packaging of this blaster is a little tricky in that regard, especially since this is $20, where it just shows the sides, and it looks cool. I like the packaging. Then you open it and you just see that they didn't do any paint on the top, which is fine, I guess. You know, I can't really hate it, but for $20, I can be a little upset about that. There's something making noise. Do you hear that? What is that? Oh! I found it! It's the Warden! You guys remember this thing? Its shameful secret has been revealed. This is a Warden. Yeah, remember this thing? People hated this thing. Oh man, these things broke all the time, and this thing is thrifted, and yet it's working. Oh my god. It's a Warden. It's the exact same thing as the Warden. Can you believe that? Man, that's sneaky not calling this thing a Warden, because they know how much of a bad rap this blaster had. It's the same thing. It's the same blaster, just with some paint. Look, barrels are the exact same. Two sling attachment points. I'm doing a Warden review. Yeah, that's the truth. This thing is the Elite 2.0 Warden. You can see it engraved on the blaster. But it hasn't broken. This is years down the line, and even though the initial ones came out with a problem, it's at least still, you know, some of these are still working. This is a thrifted blaster, so I have no reason to kind of believe that this is one of the original ones that broke, because it's still in good condition and still fires well. However, what I can say is that this is a new blaster. I did run this in Wars. This thing was ran. I actually ran it on my side as well and saw a lot of games. And slam fire or not, thing wouldn't break. I never thought I'd see the day where, one, I would buy a Warden, and two, it would be working. But in truth, I got this thing on sale, and I paid $10 for it. This thing retails for $20, and my opinion will still be as if it is $20. However, I'd like to at least talk about the Warden as it is now. Does it hold up? Does it still break? Well, go ahead and see the firing footage, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. Shooting the Optimus Primal Warden. Some slam fire.
just for fun, let's take it out of its disguise.
Yeah, in truth, there was no way I was going to be paying full price for a Warden. No way. I can't even say that I would be morbidly curious enough to burn $20. Target was doing a flash 50% clearance sale on some of their Nerf things, and this was one of them. And I thought 10 was much more reasonable in case the blaster broke within the first Nerf war. It didn't. So I'm pleasantly surprised. But that does beg the question, I thrifted this one. So, does that make it so that you can thrift these safely now? Time will tell. Please check the pinned comment for any updates on this one or this one. But right now, as it stands, this one's played in probably around 8 to 10 matches by this point. I certainly used it, and I trusted my #1 blaster breaker with it, and he wasn't able to break it. He did break my Roughcut, though, so there's that. That's why it's not here. But, in truth, my curiosity got to me, and I wanted to see if the Warden could hold up, and I never thought I'd hear the day where any reviewer could say this, but the Warden not only held up, it did very well. It felt very cool having this one on my hip as a sidearm. This and the Thunderbolt was a combo I was running for a little bit, and it felt so nice to have a shotgun with me. And that's really interesting. Because nobody would have ever expected that you could say that the Warden, regardless of what style, is a winner now. As always, my recommendation is that you wait for a sale. This was $3. This is supposed to be $20. At $20, the Warden feels expensive. I'm glad they fixed it, but it feels expensive. And I really, really wish that it wasn't 20. I think 15 is much more fair for this. But in truth, 20 doesn't feel obnoxious. It just feels a little not great. It's like the highest I would pay for one of these. Truthfully, 15 or 10, you've got yourself a deal, or get lucky and thrift a working one. But that concludes my video review of the Nerf Elite 2.0 Warden in disguise. I hope you enjoyed this review and enjoy what I do here, and if you do, like and subscribe. I've got tons of Nerf content coming up, including tons more reviews and some new series. As always, leave a comment if you've got a Warden. Leave a comment if you've thrifted a Warden and it hasn't broken yet, or has broken. Leave a comment if you have a Warden that's broken at all. I'd love to hear your just horror stories of this thing, because I rightfully avoided it when it was ready to break. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get this one to break, so I guess it's working. Oh well. Can't complain there. Of course, take it easy.